Thank you for joining me. Let's do a simple breath to support you with some chronic pain relief. Breath can unlock our energy, but if we have a hard time finding our breath, then how can it support us? So you could do this in a seated position, but why sit when we can rest? So I'm going to take my blanket and bring it towards the top of my mat. You could do this in bed, but if you're on the floor, because it's yoga, you can release yourself down to a constructive rest position. That's with your knees bent, your feet on the floor. Your arms will either rest open at your sides or on your abdomen. Now, if you know that your low back struggles with this position, maybe you have chronic low back discomfort. If you have a herniation in your back and you know it, take your blanket and place it underneath your hips. This will give you a little extra elevation and can relieve some of that intensity. It doesn't need to be really thick. You can fold the blanket in half and go up another level. Find the position that best works for your hands. On the abdomen is nice because it adds another layer of support to the body. If you've got glasses on, you can release them, which supports your eyes in releasing. And then begin to settle into your breath here. Allow the hips to soften. If the knees feel like they're rocking open, take your feet a little wider than your hips and drop your knees in towards each other. And here the breath is free to move. The muscles are no longer constricting the breath the way they do a little bit when you're in a seated position. Watching the flow of breath in your abdomen. And start to notice where you feel the most movement of breath. Maybe it's in your navel. Maybe it's underneath your hands. Maybe it's in your rib cage. Wherever you feel this movement of breath, allow your attention to remain focused on the breath. You can focus now on lengthening the breath a little bit. And we do so by lengthening the exhale. So you're drawing your navel towards your spine to squeeze your breath out. And then releasing to fill and expand yourself with breath. Exhaling, navel squeezes the breath out. The inhale fills and expands. If it feels comfortable here, at the top of your inhale, pause for a moment. And then when the body is ready, slowly release. Inhale to fill and expand. Pausing at the top. Listen for your body's call when it needs to slowly release. Continuing here at your own pace. We're making the exhale longer than the inhale, even longer than your pause. You can support this slow movement of the breath with a very slight soft constriction at the back of the throat. This slight soft constriction at the back of the throat helps you to control the length of your breath. And you can imagine here that with that slight constriction of the breath, that it takes the air that you are breathing in and converts it to prana. Prana is the energy that brings forth the eternal cosmic vibration. It is the energy that is known as life force that feeds, nourishes, and supports your whole being, physical, energetic, emotional, mental, bliss and connection. It's as though you're siphoning that energy off of the oxygen molecules at your throat to feed and nourish your whole body. And as you siphon this energy off, you can let that energy collect and surround any area of the body that feels tension, that needs some extra healing. Perhaps it's an area of the body where you experience chronic discomfort. Imagine this place as surrounded, loved, and healing. Imagine the cells drawn to this energy. The cells of the body moving and vibrating with this energy, this life force. Imagine that you are lighting up internally with this life force energy. Fully nourished, whole, healthy, and bright. Let's take 6 more breaths with this energy. Whole body radiant, whole heart radiant. the energy that surrounds your body, radiant. And without rushing anything, when you finish your 6th breath, and start to bring some movement, any movement at all here, moving joints, opening things that feel tight. If you're using this as a doorway into sleep, adjusting your body position so that you can rest. And then whenever you're ready, listen to your body. And you'll find your way into the next moment of your life. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining me for this practice of breath for chronic pain, chronic stress. And remember, 5 minutes a day can change your life. It's so much better than 60 minutes of yoga once a week. Thank you. Bye.